Welcome everyone in live to the virtual Talladega Superspeedway. It's the PGR eSports Intimidator Superspeedway Series, and we are here for the first race of the 2026 March Madness, presented by SimWrapMarket.com. You see the flyer right there, a full field sold out here tonight. 45 drivers on the grid and some big money going out here tonight. We'll get down to the grid here as these drivers and 32 of them here tonight getting ready to do battle in the knockout bracket. And that is what we are looking forward to here tonight, as Cody Neagles will sit on tonight's pole. As like I said, these drivers ready and eager to go racing here tonight. As we'll pull up that rolling grid here, and you will see Cody Neagles on the pole. To his outside, it'll be Matthew Patton. He was a Cinderella story a couple years ago, as now he looks to try to be the March Madness champion. In row number 2 here tonight, and excuse me, still getting used to all my new controls, will be your defending champion, Garrett Maines, who will roll off in 3rd. Matthew Lee, good to see him back, will roll off 4th here tonight. Rolling off on row number 3, starting in 5th, will be Nathan Harper. To his outside, it'll be Axel Smith. On row number 4 tonight, starting 7th, will be John Ward. To his outside, it'll be Aaron Smith II. Rolling off on row number 5, starting in 9th, it'll be Jeff Merck, and starting in 10th will be Caden Diedrich. Rolling off on row number 6, starting 11th, it'll be Larry McDonald, and to his outside, it'll be Austin Call. Starting on the 13th position tonight, row number 7, Brian Hennings. To his outside, it'll be the Evan Carlbahn. Rolling off on row number 8, starting 15th, it'll be Dawson Wise. And rolling off 16th tonight, Brock Westmoreland. Rolling off 17th will be Wes Campbell, and to his outside will be Alexander Cranky. Rolling off number 19th tonight will be Justin Melikar. To his outside, Mike Davenport. Rolling off 21st will be Cooper Goodwin. To his outside, Kyle Zeidel. Rolling off number 23rd here tonight, Michael Barksdale. To his outside, it'll be Daniel Falkingham. Rolling off number 25 tonight, Michael Guest. And to his outside, it'll be Malik Ray. Rolling off 27th will be Ethan Eckert. And to his outside, it'll be Freddie Bazinez. Rolling off 29th will be Josh Cruz. To his outside, it'll be David Flanagan. And we'll have to get going here to the grid. To the start of tonight's race. We'll get you caught up there at the first caution flag here of the night. That's your top 30. We do have 45. We'll get to those other 15 here shortly. But we are ready to go green for the first round of March Madness here in 2026. Who will be crowned your champion just 5 weeks from today? Green flag in the air at Talladega. Lap number 1 in the books here tonight. And it's Matthew Lee, not a new name to the top of the scoring pylon. But man, he's been kind of taking a little break from the money racing action lately, but it's good to see the man from Maine back out on the racetrack working with an old friend, the number 6 of Cody Nagels. And behind him, it's Axel Smith. That's your top 3. And some new rule changes here tonight in PGR. For the first time ever, some incident limit points to try to improve the product on the racing surface. Tonight, these drivers will fight those incident points. You get 16, that'll be a drive-through penalty. You get 24 here tonight, that will be a DQ. And these Arca cars definitely known for some X's without much of a push, so these drivers have to be cautious here tonight. And Tyler Vickery going to join us up in the booth tonight. Tyler, it's March Madness, and with that new rule, it's really madness here tonight.
Oh, 100%. And with the incident penalties, I think you and I both agree. I think it's going to probably end up cleaning up a lot of the racing. We'll still have some guys getting very aggressive, but I think that incident rule penalty is going to be really a big factor here. And I think these guys are going to start trying their best to not make any kind of aggressive moves as Cody Nagels gets left out to dry there for a second as Lee comes back down to try to get some help for him, but middle lane is dying off very quickly.
Well, right now, I'll tell you what, still 3 wide here at Talladega. And, you know, a lot going on. I wish we had some more time here pre-race tonight. But if we do get a yellow flag here in tonight's race, we'll definitely bring up that bracket. We do have the 32-man bracket here to show our viewers here tonight. And leading on the bottom, it's the Cinderella story from a couple of years ago. Dega Pro's Matthew Patton to the lead in the number 3 Chevrolet SS, and he looks good out front of last year's defending champion. He was crowned your winner last year. That's the one, the Wigan Water Technology Toyota Camry of Garrett Maines as he goes to the outside here off turn number 4. But hoping we get some time to show you that. So really how this works, we have 32 drivers that are in this field of 45 who are all in a 1v1 bracket, knockout style format. So you have to finish ahead of the driver you're going against here tonight. We'll go over some of those matchups here as we go, and I'm sure we'll get some more input next week with Austin and Dawson back, and hopefully we get some color coordination as well, so you guys can decipher which drivers are in the March Madness bracket. But tonight, the round of 32, this is where you have the most participation. And right now, I'll tell you what, these drivers definitely racing a little bit different, Tyler, than we're used to. Obviously, we see 3 wide. There is a lot more give and take, and that's so far, that's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with Patton leading, we got Mellicar in second. The funny thing is, too, and like how we've talked about, as we're still running 3 by 3 about 4 rows deep, I want to say from fifth on back. The mindset for a lot of these drivers, I think you and I can both agree, since we both competed in this last year, mindset's going to be a lot different for these drivers that are in the 32 car bracket. Mindsets, especially as you've seen earlier, Garrett Maines falling back a little bit. The thought process is going to be, where's the driver I'm going up against? Am I in front of him? If so, how do I stay up there? I think that's going to be one of the biggest mindsets, is you're going to see drivers playing very cautious and focusing on that one driver they're going up against.
Yeah, absolutely. As we go through the field here, still 3 wide. We are riding on board at the moment with Caden Diedrich, a Team PGR driver, going for the road to pro this season, and he's cautiously riding behind that big pack at the moment. So I was interested to see here tonight how this was going to all play out. Obviously a long way to go in this one, but it's playing out just as we had kind of dreamt it up to be so far. And I'm liking what I'm seeing out on the track. Jeff Merck now, he'll lead that 3rd lane down the backstretch. As Jeff Merck, a part of that group of 32 tonight, trying to advance into the March Madness round of 16. He drives the Granger number 60 Ford Mustang tonight. And we do have some movement here in the middle lane. That's the number 90. He's also in the March Madness event. That's Daniel Eberhardt, as he now clears up to the top lane. Merck's going to stay up top as well. That's going to bring the 57 through the middle. That's Alexander Franke, another driver. It's first time ever competing in the March Madness event. And look at him up into the top 5.
And being able to try to get his name out there, having a nice little debut as well. Merck, it's good seeing Merck in there, up in the top 5 as well, which I probably shouldn't have said anything because I'm going to probably jinx him and then he's going to want to beat me up. Thank goodness we didn't meet up in Daytona for 500. But top 5, everyone's kind of minding their P's and Q's. Axel Smith leading, you got Daniel Eberhardt sitting in second. Everyone's kind of minding their P's and Q's right now. I think, like what we were expecting, I think this incident limit is going to really help a lot of these drivers. Ooh, late race there. Oh, someone way down on the apron, I believe that is. I'm trying to see who that was, but that was a little bit of a scary sign there.
Yeah, for sure. We were just riding on board here with Jeff Merck. You see him there fighting the wheel in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. He has led 2 laps here tonight, and he's now fallen back to the 8th position right behind, well, he's on the bottom here right behind Garrett Maines as Jeff Merck tries to make his way back up to the front. And Tyler, we have a lot of onboard cameras here tonight, probably the most I've ever seen. So we'll try to get everyone on screen here tonight. I appreciate the drivers doing that for us here tonight. I believe we have about 10. And we showcased Merck. We hope to showcase some more. And a new player up front, John Ward on the bottom, the number 92 Bad Fast Toyota. He's off, though, looking to advance in the March Madness bracket, as he right now is your leader, and some really strong candidates up here. A late arrival to tonight's March Madness. We did have one driver that cannot make tonight's race, and he swapped out here with the number 55 of Mike Davenport. So Mike Davenport right now, he's fighting his way up to the front as well, in the 9th position at the moment, as Mike Davenport looks to also book his spot in the round of 16 next week. Axel Smith to the outside here behind Jeff Merck. So far we stay clean, no yellows here yet. 10 of 50 in the books.
No yellows in the books, and these guys are actually doing really well. And I have to say, the way Ward's been running, just watching him race the last few weeks, I mean, even the last 2 months, John has improved a lot, and he's been able to now get up there in the front pack, start fighting with Garrett Maines, Matthew Lee, Gamio Falkingham, all of those guys that are the ones that we kind of call the aces. I mean, John's starting to really show that improvement, and very impressive run right off the bat for John Ward.
Yeah, absolutely. John's one of the veterans here out in this money racing community, and he's very capable, winning each and every race. Obviously, had some bad luck, just like a lot of us do, but he obviously has the talent to get the job done here tonight. We're going to try to find another onboard camera here in just a second. I know we have Dawson Wise, usually up here in the broadcast booth. He's out on the racetrack here tonight, Tyler. We'll see if we can pull him up on your screen. He's currently in the 25th position, unfortunately down 10 spots from the start of tonight's race. As right now, Dawson Wise looking to kind of just ride around at the moment. And tell you what, this does play into the favor of some drivers that we have seen in the past, like a Kenny McCullough. That's a perfect example. Drivers that tend to go to the back of the field to start these things. And this kind of plays into the benefit. They're used to it. They're used to kind of riding around and coming to the front when it matters most. So we'll see if this does, in fact, help some of those drivers here tonight try and avoid those X's. And, you know, my thought process here, you're going to shrink the race, Tyler. You know, you're really going to, you know, want to ride as long as you can, not get caught up in anything. You know, and at the end, hey, you got a lot of X's to spare, so why not? Let's race hard near the end of the race. But hopefully, too, that green flag stop, if we can get there, can really make this race go green for a long time.
100%. And the other thought process, too, is, I mean, you see Daniel Falkingham way far in the back, especially on timing. If you guys are following at home, seeing the timing, you see Caden Dietrich, Cody Nagels, Dylan Jones, I mean, Tucker McClendon as well, and Falkingham all sitting way down in 40th place. I think the other big thing right now is I don't recall exactly what the fuel mileage is on these Arca cars, but I think a lot of these guys are thinking as well, fuel mileage, trying to be able to make that fuel last as long as they can, make a shorter pit stop, and hopefully also, if there's a lot of people that pit in front, maybe get enough of a gap to be able to leapfrog some of those other drivers that are going to pit early or pit later and try to be able to just leapfrog up to the front. I think that's some of the strategy we're seeing, especially with Dietrich and Falkingham both being PGR eSport drivers for the Road to Pro, being way in the back in 39th and 40th place.
Yeah, absolutely. As we now ride along with Cody Eagles, he's one of those drivers you alluded to here, back in the 38th position. He's down 37 spots. But I'll tell you what, guys like Cody Eagles, they have a lot of strategy when it comes into races like this. You know, we throw these strategies at these guys, these different unique races and different rule sets. And I'll tell you what, the guys that really figure them out are the guys like Cody Eagles. You see him here, he's calm, he's patient at the moment. You know, but they're thinking about this stuff. They see these race flyers come out, they see these formats come alive, and, you know, they change their focus. And the guys that are able to diagnose what it's going to take and when, you know, how much fuel to save, when they can see and hit pit lane, who they could come to pit lane with. Because, frankly, when you get to those green flag stops, Tyler, it's really going to matter how fast you get on and off pit lane and who you're doing it with. Because that essentially, you could go from the back to the front really quick with a really quick pit stop. So these guys in the back, like you said, could be saving some fuel tonight.
Could be saving fuel, as well as also trying to save a little bit of tire so that they have a better better brake bite on when they come into the pit entry, because we have seen in past, even in the PGR 500, as we got a huge spin in behind. I believe Quentin Steinbach's able to avoid it. Huge, about 3-4 cars involved going into turn 3. Caution out for the first time tonight.
Caution flag is out, and we will go back here to that replay in just a second. It looked like Brian Hennings was involved as he's back up on the track. So that is definitely going to change some things up. I believe we were definitely going to heading towards a green, a green flag stop eventually, but that's going to put a halt to that. You'll expect these drivers to come to pit lane. Your current leader, John Ward, and this caution does give us some time here tonight to not only show the caution replay here, but to also do a couple things we were hoping to do when we went green here tonight. So let's see really quick if we can pull some items up. I know, hate not featuring every driver here tonight, and definitely want to make sure they all get their TV time. These were numbered positions 31 through 45 here tonight. We are under our first caution of March Madness. You see Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt in the field here tonight, as was Asher Little, Josh McCullough. On row number 18 tonight was Hunter Hastings and Miles Bagley. Miles Bagley, a late addition into tonight's race as well. Nash Brambilla, Carson Freeman out here on the track tonight. Charlie Morgan usually doesn't get the race on Thursdays. He's out here, as is Quentin Steinbach. And a couple more here. You got Kenny McCullough Jr., Tucker McClendon, as well as Mark Vondell, Miziel Flores, and starting last tonight was Andrew Hansley. So glad we were able to get those guys showed up. They definitely deserve it for showing up here each and every Thursday night. Let's bring up also that bracket. You know, that bracket definitely something that a lot of people here in that chat have been talking about. So they can see the matchups here. And Malik Ray, your number 1 seed in the tournament, he is up there in the top left-hand corner. Every driver on the track right now are coming to pit lane. They are going to take Sunoco Racing Fuel, top off here. Daniel Falkingham, your number 2 seed. Your 3 seed right there will be Cody Eagles, Cody Eagles, and Cody Eagles your 4 seed. Garrett Maines is your 3rd seed. But there's the bracket right there. Still some pretty good matchups here in round number 1. But I think, Tyler, once you get to next week, that's when you start getting the really, really good matchups from the round of 16 on. But there's your bracket tonight. We're going to have that bracket up on our side here and try to at least commentate a little bit on those matchups here tonight. But glad we can bring that. And while we have a moment, we will get a quick word from our sponsor of March Madness, SimRatMarket.com. back here live at Talladega, we have some drivers. Whoop, John Ward's going to fake, as is Garrett Maines. So we have some drivers coming to pit lane and, faking some guys out. We did have some guys coming down to double pit. So that is also interesting as well. So definitely a lot of strategies playing out here, Tyler, as you are definitely looking at the bracket here tonight. We're going to go back really quick, show you the replay of the yellow flag when Brian Hennings crashed. And there was your caution flag. We're sorry we weren't able to dissect this too much. We wanted to get all that information out to you, but we'll take a peek here one more time in the Goodyear blimp, our first caution flag of tonight's race. As you see Brian Hennings here. Well, actually, look at that. There, it's the 3 is going to come up the racetrack just a bit, I believe, into McCullough. Then he's going to come down here and get into another 1 car that's on the racetrack.
That would be Weston Campbell. That was the 1 car that got turned.
Yeah, and that's looks like it's gonna pile them up there. But I believe a lot of the guys in the back, Tyler, did a pretty good job of slowing down and avoiding the incident. But it looks like, ooh, wow, Brian Hennings took a shot into the inside wall there. And it looks like that could be the end to his campaign here in March Madness.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was looking at it after the damage. Brian Hennings did have a broken front left control arm and everything. So for Caden Diedrich, it was the matchup for Caden Diedrich against Brian Hennings. Caden's probably looking at this now, knowing that, okay, the driver I'm up against got involved. This is a free race now for me. I would not be surprised if we start seeing some drivers, if they start seeing their competitor in the bracket get eliminated. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing people like Caden Diedrich, now that he knows he has a really great opportunity to move up to the front now, since he's in a sense advancing to the round of 16.
You'll absolutely hear as the pace car is going to head off onto pit lane again. This will be our first restart tonight after the initial restart. As on the front row, John Ward and Garrett Maines will lead them down, and a lot of double pitters here. You see that big single file line. Hopefully it doesn't stack the field up here on the bottom of the racetrack. But the green flag is going to fly once again. We are green flag at Talladega. John Ward will shoot out right here on the bottom lane as he gets a shove here from Matt Lee. Garrett Maines is going to work the outside right now, but a lot of drivers through the field working that bottom lane. We'll see how this restart shapes out, but right now, solid and comfortable John Ward in the front. As Garrett Maines is going to go up, he's going to block that run, as is Matthew Lee. A little offset. Matt Lee's going to get loose right there. These two are going to get reconnected here, and we're back to 3-wide racing down into turn 3.
Make that 4-wide there for a split second as well, but they settle down very quickly, though, as things are good, getting tight with a 60 Merck there. Merck almost squeezing down on, I believe that was a 55 of Davenport in the yellow and black paint scheme. I'm trying to recall what number that is. It was hard to tell, but things starting to calm down a little bit, but the aggression is turned up a bit as a few others are thinking about going up to the high lane.
Yeah, here's Quentin Steinbach currently in the 12th position here tonight, right behind Cranky. He's in a sandwich right now, 3 wide. He looks to make some moves. Now he's underneath the 97 of Axel Smith. Below him, it's Kyle Zeidel in the number 53. Down the Alabama Gang super stretch again. Look at these speeds down the backstretch as they come closer to turn number 3. This vantage point here on the front camera of Steinbach, and just high speeds down the backstretch here. And these Arca cars are really picking up some steam here tonight. As Eberhardt now, your new leader, he's in the front. He's going to lead Matt Lee and Jeff Merck, who's now up to second. And look at that gap. We do have a big gap halfway through this field, Tyler. I'm wondering if these guys may have lost that front draft.
I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I noticed that the restart, Weston Campbell jumped up above the lane instead of staying single file. I know Baker did probably give him a warning about that, as usually you're not able to change lanes until once you get the start-finish line. A lot of those drivers, though, that are in that pack, you got Miles Bagley, Kenny McCullough Jr., Cody Nagels, Caden Diedrich is in there, Dawson Wise. Those guys can easily catch back up to a pack as long as they keep running single file like they are. We're going to see them catch up. I don't think there's going to be any doubt about it unless someone makes a big fatal error that ends up costing them a race. But as of right now, those guys are going to be, I think, trying to mind their P's and Q's as much as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. As we kick off another lap here in just a second at Talladega, Daniel Eberhardt leads it in the number 90, 22 laps in of 50. He is your current leader. We've had one caution for 3 laps here tonight and 9 lead changes already in tonight's race. Obviously, with a little less aggression, it might be a little bit less than normal, but nonetheless, already 9 lead changes here early to approach the halfway point. These drivers now still 3 wide throughout the, or not throughout the field, but a little bit farther back mid-pack at the moment. Matt Lee still works the bottom, but that next lane is forming with the likes of Michael Barksdale. Oh, wow! Daniel Falkingham, I believe he comes down, nearly gets into a wreck. That would have been a big one. But Falkingham, one of the winningest drivers here in PGR, he's got a lot of the hardware. Almost makes a mistake there, but now he's going to file in the 9th position. That was a close call, and that's going to bring up another group here that's caught some of these lead packs. So good. Ooh, wow, Falkingham to the outside again. He is being aggressive. He wants to get to the front.
Yeah, and I don't blame Falkingham because he knows Josh Cruz, who is his opponent in the bracket. Josh Cruz is in that back group starting to catch up. So for Falkingham's knowing what he's able to do with these Arca cars, knows that it's time to start moving up in case Cruz decide to make any kind of momentum. Another quick bracket update as well. Brock Westmoreland got caught up in that wreck. He did fall a lap down, and Brock is, I believe, trying to keep an eye on the brackets. Actually, I don't see Brock on there. I thought Brock was on the bracket. He was in the 32 last year, but Brock Westmoreland and Hunter Hastings both a lap down, but I do not believe they are in the bracket at all. So as of right now, other than Brian Hennings, the other 31 drivers that are in this bracket still on the lead lap.
Yeah, now up above in the Goodyear blimp, getting some really good views here of the 3 wide racing. Matt Patton in the middle, as is Quentin Steinbach, and others here in the front of this field. Falkingham now into the top 5. He's going to lead that middle lane. Merck's going to go to the top, and he's going to pick up Cranky and other. Well, Cranky here at the bottom. 3 wide off turn 4, and man, we are about 10 rows deep at the moment. These drivers getting after it. 27 laps to go now. And action is picking up at NASCAR's biggest track. And man, I'll tell you what, we are also looking at this bracket and trying to figure out too who's going to bust it, because we've seen a lot of bracket busters over the years, including Matt Patton, who made that Cinderella run. Obviously came up short, but you know there's going to be an upset tonight. Where is it going to be? That's the question. And we still have quite a bit of drivers that are obviously picked to win, favorites to win and move on tonight, that are far back in this pack. Caden Diedrich being one of them. He's currently back in the 34th position. And he's still, kind of just riding around at the moment. David Flanagan, another really good driver in this field. He's only up 1 spot into the 29th position. He's riding around. So a lot of different strategies, varying strategies here tonight. We thought we were going to see it. And one guy, unfortunately, out. And that's going to be Brian Hennings. He had a tough break here in the early going during that first caution flag. But up front, Jack Merck leads.
Yep, and I actually just looked on the bracket. Hunter Hastings, who is a lap down, is against Merck. So Merck right now is kind of in the driver's seat. As long as no caution comes out, Merck is in the driver's seat in that little bracket match between Hastings and Merck. But, I mean, another one that could be a real surpriser. I mean, Malik Ray's finally decided to move up. Tucker McClendon's always been that other driver, as that's the matchup between Malik Ray and Tucker McClendon. Tucker's always one of those guys that if a big wreck happens, and we've seen Malik get caught up in the wrecks before, Tucker's one of those ones I always feel like could be one of those sleepers that you never know when it's going to hit.
Absolutely. Tucker had a great run in the PGR 500 Speed Weeks, and he's looking to make some moves here in March Madness. At the front of the field, though, new leader here. It is Michael Guest in the 21. We saw Michael Guest have a ton of success here in PGR in 2025. Now, he's not been a full-time runner over here, but I'll tell you what, he did run quite a few races in the back half of 2025, now linked up with a guy he's familiar with, the one of Garrett Maines. These two going to be really tough to contend with here if they stay up front. Now, Austin Call in the 118. He's trying to make a name for himself. He was in the PGR 500. Here he comes in the top with a push from Aaron Smith.
And with that, Austin Call's given himself a really big opportunity as well. Austin Call is actually going up against Cody Nichols. And that's one where the way Austin Call is racing, he wants to beat Cody Nichols. He wants to lead this race, and he's kind of proven it right now. He might be one of those Cinderellas as well now that the way he's running, had a really great successful PGR 500. Can he back it up with beating one of the best super speedway racers that's been with PGR and Cody Nichols, who's also won an ERA Superspeedway race as well.
Yeah, and if you look there on his onboard, he's a young man too. A young man out here trying to prove his worth. And I'll tell you what, he's doing that right now. And if he can go on to defeat Cody Nichols, your top 4 seed right there, that would be a bracket buster to start. As Call to the lead here into turn number 1 to the bottom of the racetrack now, as he's in front of Michael Guest. That opens up the door on the top here for the 70 of Aaron Smith. So some really good racing so far here tonight. 1 caution flag if you're just joining us. The new rules really in effect and doing a great job so far here tonight. I would expect these drivers to crank it up here in the last 10 laps of tonight's race. 22 laps here to go as we still stay 3 wide, but man, some really good moves from these drivers. They're using up every lane tonight as well. They're making the top work, they're making the middle and the bottom work as well. Very racy out here on the track tonight, and that is a sight to behold here in PGR. Some other drivers to note, Cooper Goodwin, he is also fighting his way up to the front at the moment in the 13th position as he looks to continue on through March Madness as well. So a lot going on, a lot to digest. We stay 3 wide. Man, 4 wide now. Axel Smith to the outside for a brief second. Another couple cars were as well. Smith stays 4 wide down the backstretch. And let's hope this works out. So far, so good. But man, this has really picked up here as we have ticked the laps off.
Yeah, and the way you're saying that too. Oh, car in the wall. I believe that is Axel Smith. The whole front nose is broken. Actually, the right front is broken as well on that car. Caution is going to come out for the second time, but I already see a meatball flag on the timing, and that right front is severely broken as well.
Yeah, big loss there for Axel Smith. He is not in the March Madness bracket tonight, so that won't affect him. He will try to hit pit road here and try to get that number 97 fixed up enough to get back and up into this race. He'll take a penalty there for coming to a closed pit, but obviously has a lot of damage to fix. We're going to go back up here. Your leader right now, Garrett Maines, with second caution flag, like we said, of the night. We are going to do a really important interview here shortly on this yellow flag. Obviously, not much of a wreck to show you there as Axel Smith gets up and into the wall, but we'll be bringing Wes Campbell in the booth here momentarily as we await to see if these drivers need to come to pit lane or not. But we're looking forward to the interview here tonight with the number 83 driver. I believe he's going to be shown as the number 1 in the session. We'll have to see, but I am looking for, man, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward, Tyler, to the rest of this race. It's been a good one so far tonight. I'm hoping these guys are able to keep their incidents down and no one, hits the penalty mark, because they're really doing a good job tonight of, kind of taking their time, and that's something we have not seen.
I'm hoping so too. Also, I'm seeing as well on the live timing that Hunter Hastings, I know, got caught up in that early wreck, as well as Brock. Both are a lap down from, actually 2 laps down. Don't exactly know if it was just mainly they sat around for damage. From what I'm seeing even on the pit road timers, Brock has sat in the pit lane for almost close to 4 minutes, while Hunter sat in the pits for about 2.5 minutes. So both drivers had a lot of damage, and I believe Brock is going to at least get 1 lap back with this caution.
Well, good news there for Brock as we watch the entry of pit lane. So far, no takers, but here they come a little bit farther back. I figured we see some hit pit lane. So far, 3. Here comes another couple as well to pit lane. So any damage, possibly any tires right now, anything of benefit. You see Cody Eagles coming down pit lane as well, so some different strategy there. We also do see who we're going to interview here in a minute, and that's going to be Wes Campbell here. Looking forward to that one as we see a couple drivers here getting out of their pit box. That's going to be Charlie Morgan, who made also a good run in the PGR 500 event as well. Good to see these new names as well coming back on some of these Thursday nights. That's what we really want to have, and we're going to dial this man up in a second. He is taking service in his pit stall right now, but we're going to bring him up here in the booth. Let's get him up here on the camera. Cool looking rig right there. He's just still taking some service. Don't want to bug him just yet. But Wes Campbell currently in 40th.
Keeping an eye on a few other drivers. Kyle Zittel looks like he took 2 tires. Caden Diedrich might have only took 2 left side tires as his pit stop in the box is only 7 seconds. Charlie Morgan on fuel only, but then Larry McDonald and everyone else out back took 4 tires on that stop.
Some good input there, Tyler, as we head to pit lane, as we see the number 1 on the screen, at least, number 1 in iRacing tonight. And that is going to be Wes Campbell as he comes off pit lane. And usually the driver of the 83, but tonight he's the driver of the number 1 car. And for To the Front Racing, he is a 42-year-old out of Wiley, Texas, by the way of Farmersville, Texas. Just a truck driving racing fanatic as he spends Monday through Thursdays behind the wheel of a semi. And when the weekend hits, he's chasing speed. Dirt tracks are home, and when he's not slinging clay, he's racing asphalt on iRacing. Racing is not his job, it's his passion. And we're going to bring him up here into the booth. Wes Campbell, you have a copy.
Yep, I'm here. I'm super happy that yellow flag came out. That's all I can say right now.
Well, we'll get to some more questions. Let us know about that yellow flag. What are you battling here tonight, and were you able to get that fixed?
Tonight, I once I qualified, I just wanted to run up front and, run with the guys and see how it went. And, I did not want to be the reason for the caution, but I got pulled out and, I spun around. So, it is what it is, but I knew that there would possibly be another yellow, so I got my damage repaired. I'm fresh. I'm ready to go. I'm going to Carson Hocevar my way back through this field. I'm going to do whatever I can. Thank y'all so much for having me. This is a dream come true to be here at PGR. And, I got to thank my family, my fiance, and everything for having me here. And we're about to put on a show right now, starting in the back, fresh and ready to go.
Well, we're going to watch you put on that show. We're inside your cockpit at the moment as you catch back up to this field. Talk about PGR a little bit here. Obviously, this is one of the most popular, promotions here on iRacing, one of the most popular races of each and every week here on Thursday night. What's it mean for you here to drive tonight against some really top-level competition?
You say top-level competition. I say some of the best NASCAR drivers on iRacing in the world. And I've been following PGR, and I finally, felt like I was ready to compete and get in this. And then, 2 weeks ago at Daytona, I really felt like, it set the bar for me. And I was like, wow, this is premier. And we're ready to go race. So I'm gonna make a name and be a part of this and be in the show. And here we go.
Well, we'll try to get you back up here again before the night's end. We'll let you get back to racing so you can focus. Good luck here trying to climb your way back through the field.
Thank you, guys. Let's have a good race.
Well, great interview right there, Tyler. And, man, that's one happy guy. I love that kind of stuff. A guy comes out here and just appreciates everything that we do and what we put on. And it's just, it means something for him to be racing here tonight, and that's what we're here for, to create memories for these drivers Obviously, the money is important, and it's always kind of out there in discussion. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of drivers that are. Oh, we got a wreck.
Oh,
Got a
boy,
wreck mid-pack.
that's a big one. Oh, that's Asher Litter involved. Tucker McClendon, man, more pilot in behind. Everyone's just, oh man, the entire back half of the field is destroyed. Tucker McClendon's front nose is gone. Barksdale's got some, as well, some damage. I believe the 69 of Charlie Morgan is involved. That motor is expired as it is smoking up the entire backstretch. A lot of drivers involved.
Yeah, this was a big one here. Third caution flag of the night, and I would expect some drivers now getting a little worried with where they're going to be at with incident points after that one, because we have now seen a couple big ones here. They played nice for a while, and right now I'm not sure if just got a driver or two making mistakes, because it seemed like they weren't getting too aggressive here as we head over to that replay really quick. But a lot of drivers, as you alluded to, caught up in this one, unfortunately, as we go back here and check out this replay. Yeah, I reckon all over the place here, Tyler. Ooh, we got one coming through there pretty fast.
Nash looks like got connected. It involved right around, looks like Joshua McCullough and Jack Merck. Nash Brunvilla looks like to be an innocent bystander in that as well.
Let's get up here in the Goodyear blimp, and I'm going to have to get a couple things fixed with the replay. Used to kind of just pause when you were at the replay, and now it's just like instantly playing. So kind of confusing to me. We'll get with Austin on that here in the next week. But here we go. We're going to watch them coming off the turn here. We see a little stack up there on the top of the racetrack. Let's keep an eye here. They're single file. I think they're going to accordion right there. Yeah, there goes the 03. I believe that's Kenny McCullough. He comes down the racetrack, wow, into the 23 of Brambilla. Merck gets turned off the nose of the 01, and calamity ensues behind. There goes Matt Patton into the fray as Tucker McClendon, wow, he gets hit from behind.
Gets airborne by, that was the 69. Charlie Morgan had nowhere to go. Charlie decided to just stay in the middle, hope to make it through as he was on the brakes, and then just nowhere to go. The hole filled up very quickly, and poor Charlie had nowhere to go in that.
Yeah, I mean, that I'll tell you what, that was a big one here. As we go back, we'll look at it one more time. Sorry, it's also resetting. It's also resetting the cameras, so kind of a pain in the butt right now with replays. Bear with us on that. But man, a big wreck here on the backstretch, and
yeah, I'm seeing this too. I'm looking at the bracket to see which bracket drivers involved. I mean, Nash Brambilla and Matt Patton both being involved. I mean, both drivers got pretty worse for wear. I think both drivers have no front bumper. Both are still drivable. Not sure exactly the extent of the damage for both, but that is your, I believe that is your 16 seed Nash Brambilla against Matt Patton. That's bracket's going to be very interesting with them two. I'm trying to see who else is possibly that was also in this bracket involved. Just a lot of drivers caught up in the situation.
Yeah, it sure was. We'll see if we can get on board here and catch up with Miles Bagley. Miles Bagley currently in the 37th. Yeah, he's on pit lane, as you see him here, frustrated on the camera. So it doesn't look like things might end too well for Bagley tonight as he sits on pit lane getting service to his number 87. So a tough break for him.
Yep, and I don't think Bagley is in the bracket from what I'm seeing. So that's a non-bracket driver involved. I know for sure this actually might put in a situation. I see Hunter Hastings, though, is in the pits. So I'm wondering if he got involved. Hunter could have been the first driver back on the lead lap. Looks like Hunter Hastings got involved. So that might have saved Merck, as Merck got caught up in that. A lot of right front damage for Merck. Larry McDonald, who's sitting in the pits. Larry McDonald, who is up against John Ward in the 11 seed bracket. He was also involved. I'm trying to see who else that's currently.
Well, Asher Little, I believe, in the bracket as well, Tyler, not to cut you off. He's coming off pit lane as well right now, right behind Kenneth McCullough. So as he tries to get back in this thing, he has a lot to fight for in that bracket as he gets off. He's, I believe, in 35th at the moment. He's getting back up to speed. And yeah, this is definitely scary times for a lot of these drivers, not only getting through March Madness, but getting through these incident point limits and all that kind of stuff here tonight. And man, yeah, it's going to be a chaotic and wild finish here tonight as we are under still the third yellow flag of tonight's race. As you see Little go down the backstretch, I believe you mentioned, Hunter Hastings as well. We'll see where Hunter Hastings is at on the racetrack.
Trying to see, and Asher Little's up against Aaron Smith, so that kind of relaxes Aaron Smith a little bit for the time being, with Aaron Smith sitting around 4th and 5th place. I'm trying to look back on the replay to see what happened to Hastings at all, to see whether or not he got involved in any piece of that wreck.
Yeah, he's on pit lane right, or no, he's not on pit lane right now. He's coming through the trial. He's at the start, almost at the start finish at the moment. Hunter Hastings will bring his onboard up as well, as he is, yeah, just trying to catch back up to the field at the moment. He's back in 42nd. So yeah, a lot here. Not too great news for some of these drivers. We'll head back up to the front of this pack. It's Matt Lee. Now your leader on this restart in the bottom here. To his outside, it's going to be Daniel Falkingham. Ethan Eckert in the bracket. He's made his way up to third. We haven't talked about him. Up 24 positions tonight to get to third. Falkingham's up 22. So those are big movers, as is David Flanagan. Remember, we saw him hanging out in the back for a while. He's up 24 in his 6th. Daniel Eberhardt up 25 spots in his 7th. So a lot of drivers, different strategies. Some of them starting to work out. We'll see how it all plays out as the pace car comes to pit lane once again, as the third caution flag will come to an end here. And we will re-rack them again into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Thirteen laps to go, excuse me now. Matt Lee moves to the high side as Falkingham, Maines, Flanagan, as well as Michael Guest occupy that space as well. Ethan Eckert works the bottom with Aaron Smith. Those are the only two down there, as now that high lane is where you want to be. Ethan Eckert not in it, and he is plummeting back just a bit right now. We'll see if he gets picked up. There are a couple drivers here a little bit farther back, and it looks like they're going to come into the aid of this group here on the bottom, and they do. And it's the number 1, I believe, that's going to come right up behind Ethan Eckert.
That looks like to be Malik Ray. Actually, the number 1 cars are throwing me off, actually.
Yeah, that's the problem tonight. You get in the Arca car, sometimes car we don't run often, and you get thrown off with some paint schemes for some of these guys. But nonetheless, Eberhardt to the middle as we fill 3 wide again. Cody Neagle's kind of in Hornet's Nest as well. I know he's on the bottom of the racetrack. He's up to 14th. He's got to make some moves here tonight as well. And, you know, another scenario to this whole event as well, Tyler, is, you know, obviously, I think first and foremost, guys in the bracket are paying attention to their 1v1, you know, and making sure that driver that they're going against is behind them. And, you know, I wonder if some of these guys do, in fact, race a lot differently than they would on a normal night, you know, where that payout position is key. You know, what's key right now is advancing each and every week. So it probably does change the mindset for some of these drivers. Obviously, if you're going up against someone that has wrecked and out of the race or sitting on pit lane, you can be a little bit more aggressive. But if the guys 10 behind you, you know, you still got to be careful. You know, you want to win some money, you want to win the race, but you also want to move on in March Madness. So that's what I love so much about this event each and every year. And it really comes, you know, all out there in this 5-week stretch. And for Matt Lee, hey, he's not in the bracket. He has no pressure when it comes to the bracket. And all the guys behind him up front right now do. Matt Lee's sitting in a good position.
Yeah, that's the best part with Lee, not having to worry about any kind of bracket scenario or anything like that. So it just makes it a really nice little advantage where all he has to focus on is just trying to finish in that money positions while everyone else is trying to mind P's and Q's and everything. Ethan Eckert trying to continue looking on the outside of Flanagan at a few points, but a lot of these drivers are probably looking at their live timings and stuff, trying to see, all right, who do I need to be? Where is everyone at? Like, I think, like, for example, Malik Gray, I think Malik Gray knows it's time to try to chase that feature payout because Tucker McClendon's stuck down at 38th. A few others, Hunter Hastings still struggling right now with a few laps down. Falkingham's having to worry about Josh Cruz because Josh Cruz is in this fight still, up 22 positions from the start of the race. There's a lot of these brackets that are kind of very close to either the drivers are only 1 or 2 positions beside each other, and it's going to be a huge make or break here, especially as we're within 10 to go. It's go time.
It is here. We're riding around with Josh Cruz, currently in the 9th position behind Nathan Harper as he works that high lane. Another driver you brought up, we haven't really talked about much. He's in the top 10. He's fighting for space at the moment as well. And now that bottom lane rolls just a bit off the exit of turn number 2. Down the backstretch we go again with Cruz here. Oh, you see that check from Nathan Harper. What a shot that was.
Wide.
A huge shot there with that checkup, and luckily no accident there as we stay 3 wide. John Ward 4 wide, farther back above Dylan Jones. John Ward all the way up to the wall. They're going to come off 4 wide. They're going to make it work for now. We'll see if they can continue to make it work. Drivers fanning all the way up. We had one come from the bottom to the top of the racetrack.
That was a scary move. I know I can hear it in Ward's voice. Ward was very scared, knowing that he did not want to have anything happen, as Ward right now is only 3 spots ahead of Larry McDonald. As looking at the bracket, Larry McDonald's giving Ward a little bit of a fight here, so we're gonna have a nice little fun mid-pack battle between Ward and McDonald, as McDonald's trying to make a run up and trying to be able to upset the number 11 seed in John Ward.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll do a quick another race recap for you here on your screens at home. 43 laps in a 50. Your current leader, Matt Lee. We've had 3 cautions tonight for 9 laps, and we've had 14 lead changes tonight. That's your race recap here with 8 laps to go. Now it's going to turn to 7. Just 7 laps to go here on Thursday night. Matt Lee, can he return to victory lane? I believe only 1 or 2 victories here in PGR. That first one took him so long to get. Him and Kenny McCullough, as Matt Lee goes for another one here tonight. We have a couple drivers battling, Tyler. It looks like farther back, it's Ethan Eckert right now. And he looked like he was battling there with David Flanagan a little aggressively. These drivers look like they're going to calm down just a bit. We stay 3 wide. And in the middle of the racetrack, here he comes up to the front. It's the guy we interviewed here tonight, as Wes Campbell making some moves. Could we be interviewing him again here at the end of tonight's race?
We could, and a big implication in the bracket. John Ward hit the penalty limit and has had to pit. Also, Josh Cruz, he is trying to also be able to get in a pit road. He also has a black flag for incident penalty for reaching that incident penalty limit. So John Ward.
Oh, we got a wreck.
Way down. Oh, big wreck. Davenport involved. Looks like Malik Ray might have been involved as well.
Campbell involved. I believe he was right in the middle of that one when it started. Ooh, Davenport gets taken out again. David Flanagan. Cody Niegels. Cody Niegels is done. Cody Niegels, smoke billowing out the back of the number 6. No front end. Comes to a stop. Cody Niegels, your 4 seed, to the pits. Unbelievable turn of events here with your 4th caution flag. And just like that, chaos here in March Madness.
Wow. And then because of that situation, few more drivers just hit that incident penalty for the 16, or I believe it's 16 incident limit. Cooper Goodwin, who's another driver that is racing with Ethan Eckert. Cooper might be thinking his lucky stars, because Ethan Eckert has front nose damage. His whole front bumper is ripped off. Nathan Harper, another driver with the black flag for the penalty limit. He's going to have to do a drive-through. Josh Cruz was not able to get into pit road. However, John Ward's probably thinking his lucky stars too now. He went into the pits just before that wreck happened.
Well, we're going back here. We're looking at that wreck. I'll tell you what, driver's not going to be happy. It doesn't look like, unless I'm missing something here with the 12 of Ethan Eckert. He comes down the racetrack on exit, and that is what causes this wreck. And we're going to have to go back again and watch it from his point of view. But it looks like the 12 of Ethan Eckert getting aggressive there. And the exit, we'll see. He's behind David Flanagan here. We'll see if we can get into a chopper cam. We can. Let's slow this down. Ethan Eckert, he's going to offset push, nearly hit the fence. And then he's going to swipe, come all the way underneath Flanagan. Not sure. Man, Ethan Eckert drove right into Campbell. Goes right back up the track, turns Flanagan. I'll tell you what, Matthew Baker, I am sure, is hearing it in the chat about Ethan Eckert and some drivers after this. Not going to be happy. And, what's crazy, Tyler, I don't know if which feed you're watching, but, we were on board with Campbell in his cockpit when that happened, and he got turned. So just unfortunate for him at that time. But, man, Ethan Eckert causes a big one here late.
Big one indeed, and that shakes up the bracket a lot. And I know when that initial wreck happened, Flanagan was adamant on the radio. He was not happy with Ethan whatsoever. I mean, that just put Flanagan in a very, very dire situation. Flanagan was doing very decent, staying ahead of Alexander Krunke. I'm going to say this right at some point. But now that just gave a really good shot for Alexander being in the top 10. You now have Carlbon's going to be stuck he's going to be mired way down in the 30s, depending on how long his damage repair is going to be. So huge implication there for the 13th seed. I mean, the bracket's just gone haywire here for the round of 32 with a lot of big names getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is definitely going to be crazy tonight when we, advance names in that bracket and we circle those bracket busters, as Matt Lee probably wishing right now he was in that bracket, as he has returned to Money Racing. He's returned to the top of the scoring pylon. He's been there for quite a while at this point. Man, Matt Lee doing a great job. We'll see if we can get some info here, some telemetry on Matt Lee's race. Still kind of playing around here with some of these new controls. Kind of cool here of what we can and cannot do now here on our race broadcast. But while we have a quick second, let's get another word here with our sponsor. That's simratmarket.com. Back here live at Talladega in the closing laps of the first round of March Madness. A driver familiar to the front of these fields, Garrett Maines, and some awesome news this past week for the #1 Wigan Water Technology driver, as Tyler Vickery has some information.
Absolutely, and Garrett made an announcement a few days ago, actually. I want to say 2 days ago. Garrett Maines does a lot of the Spec M30 series out in his little home area in Virginia, racing out of Virginia International Raceway. He actually just got a really awesome opportunity to race in the Toyota GR86 North American Series. He's announced on there as a part-time driver. I'll have to find what the team name is, but Wiggins is actually going to be able to sponsor him, as well as he's also working with, I believe it's an RKM team as it's named. Garrett's going to have to pick the phone with me if I mess up that, but it is going to be a part-time schedule for the 2026 season. More info is going to be available as the weeks and months go on, but really awesome opportunity for Garrett Maines, getting some real seat time, and not just on iRacing, but in an actual road course car, as we're actually green flag.
Back to green here at Talladega. Just 2 laps to go to settle it. Drivers already going all over the racetrack at the moment. 3 wide has already began. This is sure to be a heck of a finish here tonight as Matt Lee leads Garrett Maines on the high side. You see Daniel Falkingham there in 3rd. Daniel Eberhardt, though, he's going to try to make that bottom work at the moment. He's got a train coming down there on the yellow at the moment. You got the 57 as well, Alexander Frankie. And behind him, I believe the number 4. Sorry, all these numbers aren't matching up. But Matt Lee, he is surging at the moment. He'll be your leader off turn number 4. But here comes the number 1, Malik Ray in the middle.
Malik Ray's trying to get a huge run. No one's helping him at all. Middle lane is dying. Meanwhile, Malik Ray, Daniel Eberhardt getting a little loose there, but getting pushed by Freddie Bazinez on the inside line as Eberhardt gets loose. Able to hang on to it, but that just killed the bottom line as now white flag is in the air. Matt Lee leading the top, and they are about 4 cars deep in front of the middle lane.
Yeah, another guy in the picture now, Dawson Wise. He's up to 4th there on the middle lane. There goes Mellicar. He can't clear. Thank God he stayed up. He's in the middle. It's still going to be the high lane down the backstretch here as they enter turn number 3. Where's the move and when's the move going to be? As number 1 of Garrett Maines right now just stalking the back end here of Matt Lee. Matt Lee hasn't been in this position in quite a while. How is it going to feel here as we come through the tri-oval? Here it is. Who's going to get all the way to the checkers first? Garrett Maines looks to make a move. He goes slow. He stays high. Now he's underneath Lee. They're going to drag race, beat and bang all the way to the finish. And it's Matt Lee going to victory lane at Talladega.
What a move for Matt Lee, and talk about a nice little spoiler there for the non-bracket drivers as well.
Matt Lee to victory lane here. And what a win as he has returned to PGR. And for a man that is full of accolades, but only a very few PGR wins, and for how long it took him, Tyler, to get his first, leads 23 laps here tonight, goes to victory lane in his return. I mean, what a story for Matt Lee. Not in the tournament, not in the March Madness, but the race winner and a winner of a heck of a lot of money here tonight as he comes to celebrate his win right in front of Garrett Maines, who was in 2nd. Behind him was Daniel Falkingham. Dawson Wise, Garrett Maines going to join him on the celebrations here tonight. And what a race it was. Maines is very happy as well. Those 2 guys taking home a lot of money, and I am very happy for Matt Lee, and I'm sure he's going to be happy as well to get another PGR victory that locks him in to the PGR Championship. Wow, what a drive here from Matt Lee.
Absolutely, and I can tell you this, what a statement for a return for Matt Lee. That this race here, dominating the race, leads almost over half of the laps and pulls out the win. That's a statement right there.
Yeah, definite statement as you see your podium finishers there on your screen. It was 3rd place for Daniel Falkingham as he'll move on in the bracket. 2nd place for Garrett Maines as he'll move on as well. So both those drivers moving on. And Matt Lee, your victor here tonight, who not in the bracket, but man, he's in the best spot here in Talladega right now. And that's his number, the 04, at the top of the scoring pylon in the infield. And we'll try to get a word here shortly with our top three. It was a great night of racing. I believe these drivers raced pretty clean throughout. I know we had some big ones. You did mention John Ward possibly hitting that limit, but for the most part, I think it did its job. And if you think about it, the Arca car, along with the Gen 6, would be the hardest cars with these incident limits. So it could be a good sign of things to come. No reason for any of us to take a victory lap yet, but it's good to try something and to see it start to play out and work the right way as we await the top three here. And we will bring them up here in the booth. And Tyler, I will let you go here as we bring in your third place finisher, Daniel Falkingham, and we'll let Tyler Vickery get a word with Daniel.
Yep, absolutely. And Daniel Falkingham, you got a copy there, bud?
Yep, I got you.
Well, you kind of showed it off there for us early in the race. Guys decided to stay back, fuel saving, trying to play the strategy game. What thought process when it comes to hanging in the back and then making a decision there, especially when you're having to do a 1v1 bracket style?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, a lot of it had to do with like the incident limit that's been implemented. That everyone was racing very timid at the start, and I think that it led to like me flying through the field when I did, because everyone's taking it so timid. I'm not afraid to like try to push it that little extra, and we were able to just fly through the field, and everyone was just being way cautious with the pushing and stuff, which allowed me to kind of pick up a lot of positions. And then once we got up there, we really pretty much never looked back. As I know fuel was tight there after our pit stop, but with all the cautions, we were able to not worry about it. So us getting that track position at the end was very key, because we could just push flat out, and yeah, and it led to us for getting a 1 through 5 finish for the boys at MBG. So have it all worked out. Of course, I mean, I really want to try to win the race, but from where I was at, I really wasn't going to be able to win anyway. So without like screwing my own guys over. So but yeah, glad we can still get home with P3. We're talking to you guys when it was over with, so it was a good night for us, and we're moving on in the bracket. So it's been a good night.
A good night in fact, and especially thought process. Probably looks like, I believe in the bracket, you more than likely going to be going up against Aaron Smith. What's your thoughts on that round of 16 as going into a legacy Gen 4 as they call it, but it's the old legacy Arca cars from about almost close to 7 years ago, from when those first came out. What's your game plan going into that week?
Yeah, just try to do the same thing like we did tonight, and just see if we can just try to get up front and be up there when it matters, because I've raced Aaron for many years. Only trait I don't like about him is his ugly yellow cars that he runs all the time. But other than that, it should be a good battle next week, and hopefully we come on top again, because last year we didn't even make it past the round of 16. So hopefully we can try to break that bubble this year and make it through. But like I said, with the Super Speedway, anything can happen, or anything that can happen will happen. So just gotta move on next week, and hopefully we can do the best we can.
Wish you best again, and since you got here in third, we could go ahead and let you get any shout outs and stuff if you have a minute for that.
Yeah, just gotta shout out Triscaro and Baker for putting this stuff on, and also appreciate them for sponsoring me in the eNASCAR qualifying series. Been a good run for us so far. We're third in points after 3 weeks, so it's been a good start for us, and glad we can give them a lot of TV time. So appreciate them boys for all they do over here and for all their support of me. Also shout out to you guys broadcasting. It was a good broadcast, I'm sure, as always. Shout out to the MBG boys, Garrett, Matt, Dawson, Dylan, Cody as well, and Caden. They all obviously got junked at the end there. So, yeah, shout out to all them boys as well. Shout out to everyone who comes out of races, make this stuff possible. And yeah, I think I heard like Simrat Market sponsoring the whole March Madness. So shout out to those guys for sponsoring this, for making this possible, and shout out to everyone watching. Hopefully we all put on a good show for y'all. And gotta say, early doors with this incident limit stuff, I definitely think it cleaned up a lot of stuff, but there's still gonna be a lot of people that are feeling different, which is all right. But hopefully this can lead to some better races going forward.
Well, we thank you again, Daniel, for racing. Great job on the P3, as well as your team going first through fifth in this race. And enjoy the celebration later on tonight, Daniel.
Yeah, appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you.
That was your third place finisher here tonight. Daniel Falkingham, excuse me. Sorry, we got Garrett Maines already up here, pulled up by the board. He must have just rocked his camera in here late, so I got to do some camera work here momentarily as we await to bring in our second place finisher, who is Garrett Maines. So let me do a couple little things here and make sure we're good to go. But let's bring him up here. Tyler Vickery, it's Garrett Maines up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, my man. Well, a second place finish here tonight. And also, you move on in the March Madness bracket. But hey, I know that's all good stuff. A second place finish, a great payday with the 45 car field. And moving on. But man, some bigger news out there you threw up on social media here in the last couple of days. Let's talk about that because that's some serious stuff right there.
Yeah, no, really exciting. It's going to be a blast. We're getting out there in the GR Cup with Wigan Water Technologies, and we're going to start our season at Sonoma. I'm going to go on to Coda, Road Atlanta, and then Road America. So got a really good schedule, and I'm looking forward to, starting my professional racing career.
Well, I mean, we've been following you for a long time, obviously, here in the sim. You've been a driver here over in PGR for a long time and won a lot of races over here. We followed you along as well. You're doing a lot of sports car racing throughout the country. We see on a smaller level, but, this is a big jump for you. How comfortable do you feel going into this car, and how quickly do you think you'll be able to be competitive running up front?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like, it's not shoestring budget, but like I'm still, I'm budget conscious, and I feel like I'm going to be a little bit behind. I'm missing, the preseason test. I'm missing the first race to start at a track that I can use the sim for. So a lot of my experience, obviously, in sports car racing comes from sim racing. All the tracks I've learned or been able to adapt because I've driven, so much on the sim. And thankfully, Sonoma, Coda, Road Atlanta, Road America are all tracks I've got thousands of laps around. Honestly, Sonoma might be the one I have the least. So just the ability to be able to use the sim as a tool to like actually prepare for that week. And just, when you get there, there's lots of blind corners there, but it's not going to be the first time I've taken it. I think it'll really help me be able to just, get out there, adapt. I've driven the car. I've done a couple test days, or technically I only did really one, at Dominion, which is not a track on iRacing. It's really not an easy track to take a car out to and push the limit because of how close the walls are, and like, your risk is definitely there. And I felt like I was able to adapt pretty quickly and like learn a lot about the car. So it'll be nice to be able to take it on a bigger circuit where there's some runoff, there's some opportunity to really learn, and also I'm able to use the GR Cup on the sim and be able to take that, take what I learn, to the real track. So I'm excited to be able to use that and see how it translates.
Yeah, for sure. And one last thing as well. Obviously, we've been following you here now on Tuesday nights, Road to Pro, and you guys try to qualify here for, the Coke Series again. And it looks like right now you're doing some damage in there. One at Rockingham this past week. Obviously, I believe a runner-up finish at Daytona a few weeks ago. Man, you're really rolling here throughout. I mean, whether it's real racing, sim racing, man, you're really honed in right now, and hope to see you as well. Kind of get back to that Coke Series, and what kind of challenge will that present? Will kind of, I know it's sim, it's Tuesday night, but will that present any challenges for you? Doing your real world stuff and the sim stuff.
Very conveniently, the one weekend where it was a conflict, I don't actually have a race. It's an off week, so that's super convenient. But yeah, I mean, thankfully it's a Tuesday night, like you said. So that's the one day that I can guarantee that I'm not traveling. I will be home. SRO weekends can normally be like a fly-in Wednesday, fly home Monday morning. Really not good for my work schedule, but definitely a lot better to be able to run Road to Pro and be able to continue to have fun with that. I mean, I got into it purely for like, let's just see how it goes. I want to have fun. I miss competitive racing. And then we were second at Daytona, like you said. And purely, I mean, that was just excellent teamwork. It was just like tonight. We just had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in PGR. We had a 1, 2, 3, 5 in Road to Pro. Same level of domination. That really, got me excited. We went into Vegas. I mean, we had everything go wrong and we finished 8th. Like, I've not had a car that good at Vegas before, and Jared at EPI had been just cooking up missiles all season long. So when we move on to Rockingham, started up front once again, and obviously led second half of the race and ended up winning the first eNASCAR race I've won in like 5 years. So we've got some good momentum rolling, like you said, and I'm really excited about it. I'm having some fun with it. It's not really how I expected it to go, but it is exactly what I was looking for. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge of like, I'm gonna have to learn the B car again. I haven't really done any high level racing in that in a long time, but I think it's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, Garrett Maines, before we let you go here, anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to give a huge thank you to Wake Water Technologies. Obviously, got the big opportunity coming in the GR Cup season, but also, huge shout out to everything they've done up to this point. I mean, they got me through the Spec E30 season. They sponsored me on the sim. So big thank you to them. Big thank you to Scott at MCU Body. Literally same story. Like, he's the only reason I even got into that in the first place. Shout out to Linux. Also, thank you to PGR for picking me up in the Road to Pro stuff. Glad we've been able to have some success.
Absolutely. Well, Garrett Maines, a second place finish here tonight as he looks to move on next week in the round of 16. And we'll continue to watch Garrett. We appreciate him joining us here tonight. And now we will bring up your race winner here tonight, and that is the 04 of Matt Lee. He's back, and he is already to victory lane. Matt Lee, you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, oh man, here's what I said. I said, you know how long it took this guy to win his first PGR Thursday Intimidator race? And you did that finally. It took a long time. You and Kenny McCullough both. I should bring him into this as well. And, you took a long break. You come back, and you win. Explain how that's even possible, man. You did a great job here tonight. You got that Winn-Dixie machine up front. But, man, what can you tell us about your racecraft right now? Because you look better than you've ever been.
First of all, you guys put an incident limit on the race. I think really cleaned the racing up so guys couldn't just shove through everybody, creating a bunch of havoc the whole race. So I think that helped me stay up front compared to getting caught up in all the usual crap that I used to get caught up in. And then just trying to take care of my teammates behind me. As long as I took care of them, I kind of was able to stay in position.
Well, you had Garrett Maines behind you. You've obviously worked with Garrett Maines in the past. You know him well. Obviously, tonight seemed like maybe teaming up a little bit. You kind of tried to make a move on you. You guys touched a little bit, as you guys should, try to race to that line. Were you worried at all about Garrett trying to get around you there? Were you pretty comfortable there, knowing you get to that checkered line first?
In Discord, we were all in there together, and I heard a bunch of chatter about guys starting to move, and I was like, oh crap. And next thing I looked in the mirror, and guys are starting to go down the track, and I knew I had to make a little bit of a block, but I couldn't be too tight on him and take a chance of hooking myself. So, I just wanted to do enough to slow up his momentum there and get back outside of him and drag race to the line,
Well, you did just that. And the last question for you here tonight. We know you're not just here on the sim anymore. You've done some racing out here in the real world. And tell us a little bit about that. I know you've been pretty passionate and excited about turning some laps, in the real world. And maybe, has the sim helped you at all, or is it a completely different ball game out there?
Yeah, so I'm racing a late model up here in Maine, and after being out of a race car for a lot of years, it's different to jump back in one, especially something like that. I could say, like, as far as like track awareness, all that, the sim plays right in. You're still doing the same thing that you're doing in a race car, picking a line, hitting your marks. So I think that the sim really helps translate, being consistent. But the G-forces, man, like the G-forces are just something you're never going to be able to duplicate. I don't care how expensive the rig is. I've sat in some expensive motion rigs and stuff, and you still don't get that sensation of wheeling off into the corner and just sucking down into the seat. But other than that, everything translates pretty well.
Well, Matt, great way to come back here to PGR eSports, a first place finish, big payday as well. And before we let you go and celebrate, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I just gotta thank all the guys in Discord. Garrett, Dan, Dawson, Dylan there at the end. We were all got lined up and we're committed to each other to the tri-oval, and that was fun. You guys doing the broadcast. Yeah, been a lot of fun. Glad to be back.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back as well, Matt, and we hope we're talking to you really soon, man. Have a good night here tonight and go celebrate.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Well, that's it. Matt Lee, your winner here tonight. We'll see if we can get these race results posted up here, and we will. It'll be Matt Lee here on top of the board at Talladega. Garrett Maines finishing in second here tonight. Daniel Falkingham third. Dawson Wise, a great finish for him in fourth. Dylan Jones finishes in fifth. Matt Patton, a great run up to sixth. Austin Call in seventh. John Ward finishes in eighth. Evan Carlbon in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 is Josh McCullough.
Yep, and then Justin Melicar will be in 11th. Carson Freeman in 12th. Malik Ray rounding out in 13th. Freddie Bazinez in 14th. Caden Diedrich able to survive in 15th. Kyle Zittel in 16th. Larry McDonald having a great run as well in 17th. Alexander Kroenke in 18th. Aaron Smith too is in 19th. And Michael Guess rounding out your top 20.
In 21st here tonight, Miziel Flores. In 22nd, Daniel Eberhardt. Number 23 here tonight, that's Brock Westmoreland. Finishing 24th, Andrew Hansley. Finishing 25th here tonight, Michael Barksdale. In 26th, it was David Flanagan. Finishing in 27th, it's Ethan Eckert. In 28th, Jeff Merck. Finishing in 29th, it's Kenny McCullough. And rounding out your top 30, Quentin Steinbach.
And then 31st would be Mark Vondell, able to hang on to. Actually, no, Mark Vondell getting beat up by Michael Guess. I'm actually also going to give the brackets out afterwards. Nash Brambilla in 32nd. Weston Campbell, unfortunately, getting caught up in that late wreck in 33rd. Josh Cruz in 34th. Nathan Harper, the big upset, losing out to Mizel Flores. Harper finishing in 35th. Cooper Goodwin in 36th. And then Asher Little is going to be in 37th. Mike Davenport having a rough night as well in 38th. Tucker McClendon, just bad luck continues for him in 39th. And Hunter Hastings rounds out your top 40.
Yeah, and 41st, Cody Neagle's 40th, I believe. Hunter Hastings, 41st. Miles Bagley finishes in 42nd. Charlie Morgan, 43rd. And Axel Smith tonight in 44th. An unfortunate night for Brian Hennings. He went out early, 36 laps down in 45th, but made some fun of it. I saw him in a private chat tonight, and he has fun no matter what. Brian Hennings there, the caboose here in tonight's field. That's your finishing results here tonight, and man, what a race it was, Tyler, as we're now high above Talladega as we wrap things up here for the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. We'll get that bracket all done up here tonight, get that reposted to the Discord, and you can see who is in the round of 16. Tomorrow night, I'll be back. It'll be the Stars and Stripes Series at 10:25 p.m. Eastern tomorrow as the Dega Pros hosts, and that'll be a pretty good race as well, and I believe Next Gen right back here at Talladega. We want to also thank our sponsor again here tonight, SimWrap Market, simwrapmarket.com. Make sure you head over there for 10% off your first purchase with the code PGR eSports. We'll leave with a commercial from them. On behalf of my broadcast partner here tonight, Tyler Vickery, myself, Michael Triscaro. We'll see you all tomorrow night for the Stars and Stripes.